Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Dun, da, da, da.
It's the first of the month.
Ba-bum, bum.
It's the first of the month.
Bum, bum.
That's all I got. I mean, does anyone know? Does anyone know the rest of that song?
How the fucked up part is, like, we're both like, and what else does it say?
Yeah, we don't know.
When it goes,
It's the first of the month.
Dun,
And that's all I know.
yeah, that's all.
That's it.
It's us. We're back. It's December.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Oh, well, it's I'm gonna let you finish with Courtney and Amy. Fun fact. Today is December 1st. Today.
That's why I said it's the first of the month.
Today, everyone. I know, but I'm trying to let them all know that today, this first of the month,
yes,
is Amy's last day.
Well, possibly last day. Possibly last day. Not last day alive. No, I'm just kidding.
Before there's a new bundle of love and hope. This should be here tomorrow.
And that doesn't mean I'm getting a cat.
How do you feel?
Well, you know, I mean, it's freaking me out a little bit. I mean, I didn't realize my son was having sex. This is freaking me out.
Well, it's a little late for that, hun. He's having sex.
No, I'm really excited, and the baby is due tomorrow, little baby boy. I'm very excited. I've been acting like I'm having it because I've been scheduling everything around the birth when, in essence, I have to do nothing. Like, less than nothing. I'm not even expected to go to the hospital because they're not having a baby in the hospital.
Oh, please, tell everybody the truth. Honey, she's been buying clothes and all kinds of stuff. For months.
It's fun. It's fun. No, it's fun. And squeeze me, Courtney. I am a very good shopper, so I know when the sales are.
Right.
No, it's fun. It is so much fun. The only downside is that I'm not buying girls' clothes because it's going to be a boy. But it's so much fun, and I'm on a listserv for the new mommies in the neighborhood, which is hilarious because I'm like, wait a minute.
So you could get the stuff because don't they all? Isn't that how they tell? I have a bassinet. Who needs a bassinet?
No,
is that kind of how that works?
That kind of stuff. Yeah. All that kind of stuff that Lucian and Abby have brand new because why not if you can't? But it's stuff like, wait a minute, they sell things you can put on the floor so the baby doesn't hurt themselves when they fall. Wow, I didn't know that. I just put a towel on the floor when he was learning how to crawl. Who knew that there's things?
I don't know. Well, back then, like, you know, when you were a mom and my mom was a mom, I don't know if there were things that you put on the floor.
No, there were no things. No, there were no things.
It was like, don't drop your kid.
Yeah, it was basically like, don't put the fork in the outlet and don't put it in front of the car. That was it. That was it. I mean, there was like no things, you know. But now there's all these things so that the children don't hurt them. They're like, whatever. Anyway. If I will announce it via the interwebs when the child shows up. But for right now, I'm just business as usual. Business as usual.
Right. So, what do you think about schools reopening? Do you feel like you're ready to go back into a classroom?
Well, I was sort of back in because I was there as one of the babysitters. I don't mean to, but they had to have people in the classroom because a percentage of kids were coming in and you need to have an adult in the room. You know, I hate de Blasio, but I think it's a no-win situation. He can't win for Liz.
Right. He closed the schools and parents were livid, and he wants to open schools and people are livid.
Right. I mean, it's really no win. I mean, the thing is, he does need the support of the union. And then the unions are saying we're not going to come in. Then what the fuck? You know, the custodians can't teach. So I understand letting the younger kids in first, but I will say this. How are you going to socially distance with 25 to 34 kids in a classroom? That's the thing I don't understand, because when I was in the classroom at this high school, shout out to BCAM High School, there were 10 kids there, so it's super easy. So how are you going to do that? That's what I can't figure out. That's the part of the equation I can't figure out. But I don't know. I feel bad for the parents. I feel bad for the teachers. I feel bad for the students. It's a no-win. But I mean, the 3% positivity rate was arbitrary. I understand it. But the thing is, you shut it down again. It's just confusing. That's all. Everybody gets a diploma. There. Boom.
Right. Well, here's a question I need to ask you. You know, I don't have even my godkids are out of school. You know, so are they softening, entrances to college for kids who are in the 12th grade? And, the 11th grade, they look at those grades, and then, 12th grade, you're applying for. How is college admission going to work? Because these kids kind of got derailed in the really important years of
in
school.
the 11th grade, which is my niece and nephew are actually are high school seniors now. A good thing is that they're not taking into account the standardized tests, so that's a good thing.
Right.
Because those tests are bullshit, as we know.
Right.
I think they're in California too, which is just like on fire literally right now.
Right.
So, though I think they have to take some of that in consideration. I think what they're gonna have to do is look at the 10th grade grades as well, and then part of the 11th grade, because in defense, they shut everything down in March in the 11th grade.
Right.
And and I know that there is no learning going on in the second half of any school year.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
No, but once
talking about the 11th grade, because March you still have in New York. They didn't. March, April, May, June. But
they didn't take any of those tests last year. That's what I'm saying. None of those.
Right, that's right. And none of the regions happened, right? No regions.
None of the regions, which is seniors, but none of the statewide tests happened. So it's when this is all over, we're going to look back and see the upsides and downsides. Obviously, the upsides are very personal in a sense.
Right.
I mean, there's no upside when people die. But if it's making us all rethink institutions that we've always had. And maybe those tests are bullshit. Because they are.
It's so funny. I've been out of school for so long, I forgot about all of those standardized tests that we took. And the regions. I feel like I took the history regions, the math regions.
You did. You took everything.
Regions. And then it was like the New York-wide state tests that used to always come and happen. And then
I never took them.
There was so much. It was just test.
No, it is. I mean, I only reacquainted myself with it when I became a teacher, and I was like, oh my God, these kids are stressed out. But I never took the regions because I went to like a hippie high school where we just had to be. Which may explain why I became a music journalist instead of getting a real job.
A lot.
Yeah. We just had to be. And I've been.
Honey.
But anyway, you're good? Everything's good?
Yeah, child. Listen, I tell everybody, I'm like, ultimately, right, in the beginning, I was really turned out, and, people around me were getting sick and dying, and it's like, I don't want to say I get used to that, but I went through that in, the 80s, the first hit of AIDS with just friends were getting sick and dying. So then it's like you get used to that feeling again. And I, from the beginning, speaking to a friend who works, who does work through the UN all around the world, and he was saying, listen, this pandemic's in history around for 3 years. It's going to be 3 years of this back and forth. I'm glad there's a vaccine, all of that. But I should say. But I don't think we have some miracle that everything is going to be all right. Like, I keep hearing everybody saying, I just can't wait for 2020 to be over.
No, it's not like they're going to
we're going to wake up on January 1st and this miracle of ray of sunshine and everything is going to be better.
I mean, they've already said that regular people like you and me are not going to it won't even be till June. It's not going to be like a light switch turns on,
right,
and everything's going to be like. I will say though, I went food shopping this morning, and the freak out shopping is beginning because, as you know, as a good shopper, I try to find my bargains, and if you bring your own bag to Whole Foods, you get 10 cents off per bag.
Yeah, I bring my own bags. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the pandemic rationing is beginning on butter and tofu, oddly enough. So, word to the wise, if you want to stock up on butter and tofu, do it now.
And the toilet paper, I see people are acting a fool about that again. And the thing that was interesting about last time is like, you ever notice if your store ran out, usually by the next day or the day after, they got some more. There is no shortage on toilet paper, people. Calm the fuck down. There is no shortage on toilet paper.
Yeah, there's never going to be a shortage of anything in this country except for intelligence, okay?
Right.
That's the only thing we have a shortage of. All right.
Right. Because did you just wait, I'm glad that you just said that. Because I watched all of these motherfuckers arguing about not wanting to wear a mask. And then they opened up 2 In-N-Out burgers in Colorado, the first 2 in Colorado, and people waited for 12 hours for a hamburger on these lines.
That's extreme.
And I'm like, you motherfuckers don't want to wear a mask, but this is America. Don't tell me my rights. Now let me go wait for 12 hours and get a fucking hamburger.
Colorado has a mask mandate law, I think. So let's be fair. I mean, is Colorado as bad as like Texas or something like that?
I mean, any place where the people are waiting 12 hours for a
that's
hamburger.
Ridiculous. For anything.
A hamburger from a
fast
food joint.
Are they that good? I don't eat meat. Are they that good?
You know what's really funny? All my years going back and forth to L.A., In-N-Out Burger was not my choice place to get a burger. I mean, I've had an In-N-Out Burger. It's fine. No, you know what? I like an Astro Burger, if I can be honest with you. Astro Burger is my favorite. I like the Fat Burger. Fat Burger is cool.
Fat Burger, Curtis.
But I would always go to Astro Burger before I went to any of them. That's just my humble opinion.
I was always a vegetarian, but I will say when I used to go to Oregon, I heard Burgerville was very good because they used fresh ingredients, and they used to have Walla Walla onion rings.
Oh.
With the Walla Walla onions, and it was seasonal. And they would have triple berry shakes. Now I'm getting hungry. Okay. I'm lighting up for 14 hours is anything. It's ridiculous for anything. It's there for anything. The only thing you should be doing for 14 hours is sleeping and watching television. But we'll get to the TV later.
A good Law and Order marathon with some nachos.
Or, as we call it, a Tuesday.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I'm watching a Law and Order marathon. Oh, you mean it's Tuesday? Okay, got it. Anyway.
Can we talk about... So let's talk about these Grammys, the Grammy noms.
People have grandmothers. You know, that's the reason I don't want to be called Grammy Amy, because then my grandchild will think I'm a golden statue that nobody gives a fuck about anymore. And yet, Courtney, they don't give a fuck about it, but they whine like little bitches when they don't get nominated.
They all want one. I don't care if you're Drake, who wanted to diss the Grammys, but when he won last year, he was there to get his Grammy. Did he last year? Or whatever?
Did he win, Drake? I'm sure he's won a Grammy.
Yes, he's won Grammys, I believe. He has won Grammy. The funny thing is, it's like, I absolutely get... First of all, it's the oldest argument in the book, right? About who should be nominated, what's relevant. And if you really go through the history of the Grammys, you look at somebody like Diana Ross, who's groundbreaking, who never won a Grammy. She was given a Lifetime Achievement Grammy. She never won a Grammy with the Supremes. You think about all of that classic work, her solo work, those songs that are now like American standards, never won a Grammy. Then you look at somebody like a Madonna, who did not win a Grammy for her music until the Ray of Light album, which is her 7th album. And you think about how huge, like things like a Prayer, that album was groundbreaking when it came out. So it's all subjective, right? Now, when I looked at the list this year, people would bitch for a long time saying, we need new people, da-da-da, it's the same old people, Now a bunch of new people are nominated, people are furious.
No. I don't think they're serious. Well, I mean, yes and no.
I've heard a lot of people are like, I don't even know these people. And you know what I mean? So I'm talking about like the general public. Then we'll get to the artist side. But then you realize you're never going to make people happy, right? And two,
No.
I looked at some of these lists and I'm like, okay, some of these songs things are deserving of being here. I'm glad Dua Lipa had a monster year. That record, her album was great.
Dua Lipa, yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's just.
How are the chicks not there though? You know what I mean? Because I'm
what is
the
it?
Dixie Chicks' big comeback was a great record, well reviewed, and not one nomination anywhere.
It flopped. It flopped. They've burned all their bridges. I think that's it. I think they have no profile. And it's also the record company pushing it.
Well, no. But it's hard to say flop with vintage artists, right? Because a lot of these vintage, listen to me, making them sound like old wine. I'll call them heritage artists. A lot of the heritage artists don't have streaming because their audiences from the 80s, the 90s, the early aughts that bought records. And the younger artists seem to stream a lot better, that I noticed, than a lot of these heritage artists. Like you look at Madonna comes out at number one, usually her week one, because all of the old school fans buy her record. But she has zero streaming and her albums always drop. Mariah Carey does not. Like, depending on what it is. Her All I Want for her Christmas stuff is always going to shoot up in streaming. But when her albums come well reviewed, but the streams that she doesn't have streams, I think Katy Perry has been suffering from that. And you see the younger artists absolutely, like Ariana Grande is the streaming queen. You know what I mean? These younger artists have it. So it's a really, like, but if we're talking about the Grammys and we're going to try to measure that success, it's going to be really hard for these heritage artists to ever fall up and be where these younger kids are because they don't stream.
The Dixie Chicks are in their 40s. They're not heritage.
But they are heritage now. Legacy artists are. They are. That's the thing. In your 40s, you get pushed to that adult area because, hell, it happens in your 30s because all of these artists were also very radio driven. And suddenly you get to be in your 40s and mainstream radio, even in country, is not playing your record. You get moved to the adult category of it all.
I mean, all right. Let's just get to the record of the year because that's the one that goes to the producer and the mixer, right? The artist, producer, mixer. All right. So I went through it. Now, I'm not even going to pretend to say attention to it. All right. I like Roddy. All right. Rockstar. As soon as I played it again this morning, I knew it. Say So, Doja Cat, whatever. I cannot stand her, even though it's a catchy song.
But it was a big record. It's a good song. It was a big song too.
It's a very cute song, but I have issues with her, but that's another issue.
A lot of people do. She's a little problematic.
Yeah, all right. Dua Lipa, Don't Start Now, great song. Here's the one that the Black Pumas are a really good group. They don't get any kind of play, but they are really good. Here's the one I have. Okay. I know that there are certain artists that have become knee-jerk. You nominate them. But Black Parade it's not a good song. Sorry.
No.
It's not a good song. And the thing is that the Grammys are doing like what the Academy Awards did. They didn't give Martin Scorsese the Oscar for Goodfellas, so they gave him the Oscar for a movie that's like good, but not as good as Goodfellas, right?
Right.
So Beyonce always wins Oscars in R&B black music. She's not Oscars.
Grammys.
She didn't get it for the album she deserved it for, which was Lemonade. So they're going to be mea culpa now and just go, we'll just nominate her for every time she coughs. Black Parade is not a good song.
Well, she won Best Urban Contemporary Album for Lemonade. She didn't get it. Album of the Year. I actually thought she was supposed. The last album that I worked fully, which was the self-titled 2013 album, the surprise midnight drop, I absolutely thought, well, when that was nominated for Record of the Year, it was a really cohesive record. The videos were beautiful. The visual album, I was like, this is it. They're finally going to give her Album of the Year. And when that didn't happen then, I was like, oh. Or even when she was nominated for Sasha Fierce, there is something really interesting about she gets a lot of nominations, and she has over 20 Grammys at this point. I think she has about either 22 or 24. I think it's between 22 and 24. But if people really go through and they look, most of her Grammys, and I think you and I have had this conversation, have been in the black categories. Like, she'll get nominated in those big pop categories, but she does not win those.
She's marginalized. She's still marginalized.
So, yeah, absolutely. But which is quite odd. But to see them give her the most nominations, and it's for this song, I was really found that quite head.
Yeah, it's odd. All right, so let's go. All right. And
that spot should have been the Weeknd's Blinding Lights, because no matter how much people don't, I think he's one of those guys who has a weird thing. I think he's got the public, the commercial side loves him. Yeah. I don't think industry people really like him. I don't think they really know who he is. I don't think they get what he's about. And I think that's why they don't vote for him, and he didn't make it on these ballots.
I think that's
but that was his plot.
I think that the thing with The Weeknd is like when he was sort of this edgy, coked out Canadian guy releasing stuff for free on the internet, he had like the buzz sort of thing. Then he decided he wanted to become Michael Jackson, which is fine. Right. I could not tell you, I've never heard the man talk. I've never read an interview. I can't tell you what he's about. Right. And he makes really good music. And this was it's everything you want in a pop song. It was catchy. It was interesting. It was a good vocal performance, good production.
Worldwide smash. Like around the world. The album and the single. Worldwide smash.
I don't get it. He must just not, there's something about him.
There's something about him people don't like. There's something about industry people, because the public loves it. Industry people.
I don't get it. He must have done something to somebody, because there's just, it's like,
I think what you just said is really important, because I agree with you. I don't know anything about him. I have some of those early mixtapes that he used to drop, and you're right, where he was like the edgy dude, and he just had the weird hair, and you didn't know that much about him. But it's like, this is where the dumb part comes in, right? Where your personality should not have anything to do with the music. Absolutely. But I do think that you saying that hit it on the head. It's like, no one knows what he's about, really. You don't really know him. Now that you just said that, I'm trying to think. I know I've heard him speak, but I can't even think about what his voice sounds like.
No, I don't know
anything about him.
He's Ethiopian. He's Canadian. He's Ethiopian.
See, I didn't even know that.
He dated the Hadid sister nobody cares about. I don't know anything. I think he dated Selena Gomez. But the point is,
I think he did. Yeah, he did actually.
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter that he has no personality, because Beck has no personality, and he won Album of the Year. It shouldn't matter. And people always get in this argument, oh, who cares if it was commercially good? It wasn't a good record. It was a good record.
It was a good record. And I'm tired of people doing that too. I'm like, guess what? Commercial viability is really important. Because a bunch of critics can sit around and say whatever. Some shit is critic proof. If the people like it, it's not as bad as everybody always tries to make it out to be.
Well, but it was a good record.
It was a great, listen, he's extremely talented. But I do think he's one of those people. He's had some weird feuds. Like, remember the weird thing with Usher and weird shit? I don't know if that worked against him, but I was absolutely surprised to see him completely shut out.
Yeah, he's sort of a cipher. All right, so that's so record of the year is Black Parade, Colors by Black Pumas, which is a really good song, but it's not going to win. Rockstar, Da Baby featuring Roddy Ricch. I have this weird thing. I like Roddy Ricch, even though he appears to be a midget, but I like him. Say So, Doja Cat. I love Billie Eilish. Sorry, but I think she's really good.
I like her.
I would not. All right, so wait a minute. Post Malone. I couldn't tell you a Post Malone song if you put a gun to my head. He irritates me for many reasons, which I'm not going to get into. Savage, Megan Thee Stallion featuring Beyonce. It's not a record of the year. It's a good song. It's not a record of the year. I think out of all these songs, Courtney, and it's not just because we have a crush on her, Don't Start Now is the best song.
To me, Don't Start Now is amazing, but so is Colors by Black Puma. And, Say So is a great pop song. I really like that. And Rockstar was huge. It was a huge record here. It was a huge record internationally. It was #1 in the UK for like 5
It is a really good song.
All
right, Album of the Year. Here's where it gets. Okay, first off, it appears to be produced by people from Asia, which is interesting. Okay. Janae, how do you pronounce her last name? Aiko? Janae?
Aiko.
How do you Aiko. I think she's talented. I'm really
She's very
shocked.
talented.
I'm
happy for her. That was a left field. To me, that was the left field thing. I was like, oh, wait, what? Word.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. So she's got way better product manager than The Weeknd. Black Pumas, they were nominated for Artist of the Year brand new artist. Good record, but that's like an album to show that you value music. Everyday Life. Okay. Did you know
I do
Cold
remember that.
First
when we spoke about that earlier, I was like, no, and then I remember I do have this album. I do remember that it came out. I just never played it. I have it though.
Is this the record where they decided to go dance music?
Again, I haven't really played it.
Exactly. Okay. The Jesse Volume 3, Jacob Collier. Who is this man?
I have no idea who that is.
Thank you. Okay. Women in Music Part 3, Haim.
I like that album.
I like it too. So again, but I also think they appeal to the they play instruments, but they are good.
Right.
Future Nostalgia, Dua Lipa, cohesive record, commercially successful, critically acclaimed.
Yep.
They have a chance. She has a chance. Again, Post Malone, I wouldn't know him if he fell on me. He, as I have said, he looks like a bad pap test. I don't like the writing.
Twice. A bad pap test text where they're like, we need you to come back.
No, we need you to come. I'm sorry. Miss Linden.
We see something unusual. We need you to
Miss Linden, we've seen some abnormalities. Could you come back, please? Oh my God. No. It's okay. We just need to run the test
You're
again.
like, you have a Post Malone. You'll be like, oh my God.
Oh my God. I have Post Malone syndrome.
Antibiotics help?
Yeah, exactly. I think this is Taylor Swift's to lose.
I mean, here's the thing. The record came out of nowhere. No one knew it was coming.
Right.
Then it turns out to be good. Then it turns out to be a huge hit. My thing is, this would be her, and it shouldn't count for shit like this, but it would be her third album of the year Grammy.
I know.
Which is crazy. Like, that's crazy. Like, I would believe Stevie Wonder has 3 album of the year Grammys.
I know.
I don't know if a lot of other people have that kind of a number for album of the year. And listen, it's a really well-written record. I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan, but I told you,
neither.
I enjoyed this record. I will always listen to her music once at least. I thought it was a great record. I was like, if I was a fan of hers, this would be on repeat. I would love it.
Here's my question.
It was number 1 for like 7 weeks. It was a big record.
I think here's my question, and I agree with you about the 3 album thing, but my question is there any record on this list that if she won, you would go, oh my God, she doesn't deserve it. # white privilege.
No, and that's just the thing, right? There's none of, like, if you go for what the blockbuster is, she's actually the blockbuster, but Post Malone sold well because that's a big record, and Dua Lipa, those 3 are the biggest records on it.
And I think there's
I think it's anybody's race. I do.
Yeah.
I think it's anybody's
I think also there's a bit of sympathy for her for the whole Scooter Braun thing. I think that...
And this could be the year that people, like they did for the Dixie Chicks that year, simply because artists don't like that. Because for all of our listeners out there, here's a little fun fact. Most artists, there is a point in their career, especially if you're as huge as Taylor Swift, where you get a chance to buy your masters back. And when you see a lot of these artists who have new deals and they've got their own companies, and a lot of them have done deals and they got a chance to buy their masters back. So to watch someone not be able to buy her work back and then see somebody who she has an issue with basically go sell it to someone else, and now you have these finance firms. They're not even people. It's like finance firms buying record companies and buying publishing, and so they can just make money. It's not even about the artistry of it anymore. Now you're a product, and they're going to try to make your money. The one good thing about that deal is still for them to try to license anything out, she still has to sign off on it.
Yeah,
So
well,
hopefully she won't. You know what I mean? They will have spent that money, and because she's re-recording all her music. So good for her.
I mean, I agree with you, but I'm not going to be holding a tag sale for Taylor Swift anytime soon.
No, it's not. But see, it's bigger than that, and that
I know.
To me, it is an artist thing because I think what she's fighting for is for all artists. You know what I mean? That's pretty fucked up for someone to just keep buying your music and then selling it and selling it and selling, and not even to like another record label. It's now to.
It's an investment.
And then, it's not cool.
Right.
So this could be the year, like you said, that artists rally behind that and just give her everything.
Well, do keep in mind that the people who vote, you know, the NARIS, like the Oscars, it's not like you have only the artist. You have a string player in the Boston Philharmonic who has as much of a vote. Because everybody
when I was at Music World, I used to vote. Like I was a
I voted.
And I used to vote. Yeah.
We can vote in the big four, the big five, and then vote specially. All right. So Song of the Year is Black Parade, The Box, Cardigan, Circles, Don't Start Now, Everything I Wanted, I Can't Breathe. And If the World Was Ending, which I heard this morning for the first time. It's a really good song, but I wouldn't know what Julia Michaels looked like. I have no idea who she is. She's an artist.
She's been around for a while. But isn't it interesting? You look at these lists, right? And it's just kind of like, okay. Like, there's nothing that screams out like, all right, whoever wins, you're not going to feel like someone else got cheated, right? Because everything just seems so,
it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. None of them, but I will say out of all, I Can't Breathe might win because it is it's about social issues, and I think they want to give her something because you and I have had the conversation about her.
She's won Grammys, but she's won Grammys, you know.
But I mean, that could win to make a statement. All right. Best New Artist. This is the one that makes my head spin. Ingrid Andress, who is she? No idea.
Country artist.
Okay. Phoebe Bridgers has been around for a while. Everybody loves her. I find she's like whatever. I think her claim to fame is she's the one who accused Ryan Adams of something bad. Chica, no idea who that is. Noah Cyrus, I refuse to believe that even exists.
But here's the thing, and I feel like she's had a couple of records out, but okay.
Yeah. Who is D Smoke?
I have no idea, but evidently feels like it's hip hop. Right.
Doja Cat.
Again,
I don't see her having much of a career, but okay. Kate Tronda, been around forever.
Kate Tronada. And I'm like, so I guess Best New Artist, even though he's also had other albums out that got a lot of press and notoriety, but who am I to say anything?
No, they've changed the category. It now says this category recognized an artist whose eligibility year release achieved a breakthrough. So it's basically like if you were in an irreversible coma for 15 years and woke up and suddenly went, wow, that Beyonce, she's pretty. That's the Best New Artist. It's like my dad. It would be like if my dad suddenly went, wow.
And Megan Thee Stallion with her third album, yet they're calling her debut album.
Right. Well, they were all mixed up. All right. Can
you please explain this to me? I need you to. We're from the era of mixtapes. These motherfuckers are putting out full albums with videos and like 15 tracks, and it's like, no, that's not my album. I'm like, then the album comes and it's like full album, 15 tracks with videos. What's the fucking difference these days? Like, what's the difference?
There's no difference. It's just a way of positioning yourself.
Right.
I mean, everybody used to go on and on about Frank Ocean, Channel Orange's debut. I said, oh, you mean as opposed to the album he put out before that?
Do you know how much I feel like he is the most overrated artist on the planet?
All right,
I said it. I said it.
He's proved to be overrated, but I want to go for Best Pop Solo only because
I know why you want to go for Best Pop Solo, because your boyfriend's in the fucking category.
Well, no, my boyfriend's in it too, but fucking Justin Bieber. Okay, here's the thing. Justin Bieber, whine. What's it with the Canadians? They're all whining this year. Okay, whine. I'm very glad I got nominated, but I'm an R&B artist, and no, you are not.
No, right. Suddenly, now, like, when you were pop and white and got the big fan base, you were fine. Now it's like, I'm R&B.
Now, like, Courtney, I have black friends, and I listen to black music, and I like basketball, and I'm not black. And
if you suddenly change your name to Sheila and you come to my house with some bamboo shrimp earrings, we're done.
I feel like all white pop artists named Justin feel like they somehow get a black pass. It's like,
then to say it out loud, suddenly, now you're an R&B artist?
Yeah, now he's an R&B artist. Well, this album was a return to his R&B roots because why? Because he has a video where he and his black girlfriend are praying, and he's supposed to be working in an oil field. And what the fuck was that all about? All right. I would love it if my boyfriend won because I want him to get up there in that fabulous dress, and I think he deserves it. But I could live with "Yummy" is the stupidest song ever. And
this to me, I would like to see go to Dua for "Don't Start Now" because to me, she brought some fun and shake your ass and.
Hey, not for nothing, Courtney. Do you think that? I think that by the standards that we're talking about, I think that Harry Styles deserved an album of the year. Why not?
Yeah, this was a big album, and it was big. I feel like the album was bigger here than even at home for him. Even though it was a big record there, it was a big album. Yeah, absolutely.
Huge album. Critical.
It also deserved. Yeah, he also should have been in that. What did we just do? Song of the year, record of the year? Was he not in either of those?
Best pop solo. That's it.
Oh yeah, like he should have been in Song of the Year and Record of the Year. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he had 3 big hits on that. All right, best pop duo. I don't care about any of these songs. Okay, here's the question I want to ask.
Pop duo. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what every category feels. They'll probably give this one to Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande because that's how that works.
Harry got best pop vocal album nominee.
He always no. Did he?
He got best pop vocal. But he's up against Dua. That's a okay. This is giving me.
But you know what? He could snatch that. But you know what? Taylor Swift is in there. This could be a Taylor Swift night where she came. Listen, she wrote this record. It's her folky record that people didn't know what to expect, and it's a smash. This could be one of those nights where she just walks out with everything.
Okay. I just want to skim through this, but I am very disappointed that Fiona Apple, which was a hugely critically acclaimed record and very good, gets a nomination for Best Rock Performance. Do you think of Fiona Apple as a rock artist?
For Shamika.
For Shamika, which is a great song, but why isn't the album nominated?
And she also got for Best Rock Song for Shamika. Oh, wow, she did not get a Best Rock Album. Like, it's so weird to see her in the rock categories.
That's what I'm saying.
She was always in the pop categories before when she won her Grammy.
I've never considered her a rock artist. I want to get to the stupidest category, the new stupidest category. Wait, I'm going.
Wait, all right, you think of Michael Kiwanuka as rock?
Which one?
Michael Kiwanuka. You know his last record that he put out, Kiwanuka?
He's not rock.
He's nominated for Best Rock Album.
I guess
and that's I'm looking at that going, I don't think of him as rock, really.
I don't know what, but she's got Best Alternative Music, Fetch the Bowl Cut. Okay, so
which is crazy. So the songs are nominated in Best Rock, but then the album is in Best Alternative Music and not the rock. So weird.
All right, here's the category. This is the new category that Best Melodic Rap Performance. For solo or collaborative performance containing both elements of R&B melodies and rap. You mean like
the sing song shit has its own category.
Sing song shit. So do Jody Watley and Shaka Khan get retroactive Grammys because they did this shit a million years ago?
Let's
All right, so anyway.
Drake, Cry, Laugh Now, Cry Later, Rockstar, Lockdown, The Box, Highest in the Room. Okay.
I love The Box. I don't know why.
It's a great song. It's a big song. Like, who's best rap album? Let's see. Best hold on. Best R&B album. Ant Clemens, Giveon, Luke James, John
Best
Legend,
rap
and
album. Here's best rap album. Deep Smoke, Freddie Gibbs, and The Alchemist. Isn't Freddie Gibbs a reggae artist?
No, he's
Jay Electronica, Nas, Royce the 5'9".
All right, this is an interesting one. One.
All right.
This is actually a really interesting one, actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've heard the Nas record is really good.
The Royce the 5'9" record is really good.
Right.
Like, it's just weird, like a Jay Electronica, who, another one, the album had a lot of people, you know, the mystery of Jay Electronica, but it kind of came and went. Does he, because of the mystery of Jay Electronica, snatch a best rap album Grammy?
That'd be interesting. Can we do a segue?
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about, because I want to talk about, like, sort of the soundtracks of the music, the TV soundtracks. What do you think? Or movies? Because do you know that one of my dream jobs in my mind would be a music supervisor?
Supervisor. I was thinking about that for a while. After I left, when I first left, working at a label, my friend Regina, who's a writer, was trying to really encourage me to do music supervision. She was like,
"You'd be great at it.
You should be a music supervisor." You know, it's so amazing, and isn't it great to see how people are really digging back in to really pulling great music for these TV shows, man. You and I were talking about the music for The Crown. The job that Kier did with Insecure, like, really, Insecure has been, for the 4 seasons, musically, for, like, R&B and hip-hop and new artists and young artists. It's been great.
Did you watch Lovers Rock, the Steve McQueen?
Oh, my God. Let me just tell you something. And this is what I loved in the moment. It may seem cheesy to some people, but I'll explain why I loved it. There's a scene where they're at a party and they put on Kung Fu fighting and everybody's doing the moves to dance. And I remember, first of all, I have that song on vinyl. It's one I never pull out and play. And it's funny how that was shot in the scene and how it was when that song came out. You listen to it now, it sounds like some cheesy, hokey song from the 80s, right? But it really was this tune, and we all danced, and everybody did like the karate chop dance. And to see that, I was like, this was authentic to the time. Because a lot of times when people use some of this music, it's always like in a comedy and it's making fun of the moment. And I really loved that celebration of that moment in time, and just seeing them all like in London and having those same vibes. I mean, being at parties in New York, and it's like that same thing that you recognize. And that's the thing that music does. It kind of connects you, and you realize, oh, wow, even though these people were 3,500 miles away from me during that period of time, our vibe was the same with this song. And I love that they're bringing back a lot of this music and putting it in. Like, it's used so well in
Well, I mean, I just want to set up a little bit in case people haven't seen it. So Steve McQueen, not the dead actor, the director, has done a series of 5 semi-short to short films for Amazon Prime, called, and I have 2 of them are up right now. Small Axe, which takes place in Notting Hill, which was a huge West Indian neighborhood in London. And the one we're talking about is called Lovers Rock, and it's basically 70 minutes. It's a house party in Ladbroke Grove, London, which was a primarily West Indian neighborhood at the time. And the centerpiece, it's everybody getting ready for the party and the romances, but the centerpiece of it is this extraordinary, almost 10-minute, which is a lot of airtime in a film, scene of people first dancing to the song and then singing a cappella the song Silly Games, which was a huge smash in London. It was Lovers Rock, which is not a genre that really made it here, but it was British black, West Indian genre. And what's cool about it, I'm sure you noticed, is that in the scene, Dennis Bovell, who wrote and produced that song, is the old man dancing in the scene.
Wow, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, and I got hip to Dennis Bovell because he produced, keeping in the vibe of that time, he produced all those Linton Kwesi Johnson records, which had a huge impact on me because, and which is also used in The Crown, England is a Bitch, and it's also used in the first Steve McQueen short, because as a punk, I mean, I had heard reggae, we'd all heard reggae, but Bob Marley, stuff like that, and there was a huge connection between punk and reggae, especially in London. It came over, you know, to the United States. And Linton Kwesi Johnson, those records, we'll post some of those songs, extraordinary stuff. So Dennis Bovell was like a dub producer. At the music in Lovers Rock, just like, it's just a beautiful, as you said, a beautiful fusion of the look, the time, the vibe, the music.
Amazing. You're great.
It's amazing.
Great.
And it's basically 12 hours in the life, right? They get up. Did you hear the little snippet of Sunday Girl by Blondie when they're singing Sunday? Right? I was like, wow. But it's a great appreciation. And Lovers Rock, again, and again, we'll post some of that, was a genre that it was a born in England version of reggae. Born in England, you know, and never, no pun intended, translated. But it was gorgeous. And you were talking about The Crown, the new episode, going back to like, English Beat and what else did they use? Bowie and Linton, right? Great music, right?
Yeah, that's like we talked about I May Destroy You. The music in I May Destroy You was incredible. Incredible use of new and old songs. That is just, that's the power of music. That's why I loved it. That's why I worked in it for so long. That's why even though I retired from the music industry, I'm always doing something to relate back to that form of entertainment, because it's just, I don't know, it just gave me a feeling when I was watching Lovers Rock and they were dancing and winding up on the wall. I just remember those parties and just being young and the lights all dim and just dancing and carefree and that energy. And, you know, music really does transport you. And I'm glad to see that it's become super important in shows again, you know, because before it felt like we get a lot of throwaway shit, but now it seems like people are back to realizing just how much it sets the mood and gives you that energy when you pick the right music for your show.
And I also think a lot of that, maybe I'm wrong, has to do with there's so much content now, and you have to set yourself apart. I mean, Martin Scorsese has been using music fabulously in films forever, but there's so much content now, and it is really extraordinary. And as you said, it's a way of really placing you in a time and place. And most Americans do not know a lot about the Windrush generation, which was the first wave of West Indians who came to England. We grew up in the United States. Our black culture was a very different black music than it was in the UK. So it is a fascinating kind of like moment in time. But yeah, watch, if you have Amazon Prime, I'm sure it'll be released in other forms at some point, but it is just, I mean, I'm excited to see what the next movie is going to be, because McQueen is clearly tapped into that time and place. It's his childhood. You know what I mean?
It's the celebration of black culture and all of our beautiful tapestries and colors. Not every story, and I say this all the time, not every one of our stories, we're not some monolithic group. Not every story is the same. Not everybody was just some sad environment without a happy home. Like, we have uplifting, happy stories, the American story, the London story, the working class story, like everyone else. And I love that music is really being used in a way to tell that story. Because when I watched that, I could feel that, because I was like, even though that was London, it's the same experiences I had here with music. And you know what I mean? That same vibe. And I guess that's what it's all about, right? It's kind of bringing that mission up. So I have something to ask you. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Are we, well, ma'am, thank you so much. Are we secretly starting any process for the new Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff?
As you know,
I know you can't talk about certain shit, but like,
I mean, I don't even know how we're going to meet. We can't be in a room with each other.
Right.
I mean, wait, I know how we can be in a room with each other. If we become a church, then we can throw ourselves into a room and breathe all over each other.
That is true.
So I'm going to suggest to them that we change ourselves to the rock and roll church of fame, and then we can all be in a room without masks, coughing all over each other.
Right.
I'm sending that. I'm calling up John Landau today and saying, "Hey, John, what's good?" Yeah, I have no idea.
Because isn't this around the time where y'all kind of start?
No, it's usually in September.
Oh.
We usually get together in September. Usually it's September is when we meet. The nominations are announced like in February, December-ish, something like that.
Right.
New Year's-ish. And then the show itself is usually in May.
Like March. Oh, right.
May, right? Well, obviously that all went to fucking hell in a handbasket. Thanks, China. So we couldn't do any of that. So I don't know how we're going to meet. I mean, if we do it via Zoom, that'll be a shit show of epic proportions.
Kind of, sort of.
And as you know, Courtney, like most things in my life, I do it because there's free food. I love the food. The food, it's really good, like deli platters, because as you know, record company Jews, we enjoy our deli. So
we like a deli platter.
We do like a deli platter.
And crudité for some reason. There's always a giant crudité platter.
And they always have vegetarian food because that's cool. And they always have really good cookies. They have those.
There's always good cookies. And if they're being really fancy, there might be a charcuterie board.
No. We don't have that. No, we have those fabulous black and white cookies, which I enjoy, which are basically cake, as we all know.
I always get the white chocolate chip macadamia. That's the one I usually go for.
And I also enjoy the Italian wedding cookies, like the
I love those.
Cookies.
Yeah.
Those are good. No, it's fun. But no, you get to hug up on people and see people, and it's not. I don't know, but this year Jay-Z is eligible, so I bet that's going to be that'll be hard.
Is?
Yeah. 25 years, right?
Yeah.
When it's not from Reasonable Doubt, it would be from his first single, and he put out a single earlier than that, right?
Yeah.
With
but
somebody
it would
else.
probably be from Reasonable Doubt from the first album. But yeah, I guess. Oh God, well you know how that's gonna work. That's gonna
be a lock.
Exactly.
That's a lock. I mean, I'm assuming it's a lock, but that's a lock. So
hopefully nominate some fucking women.
There will be a tremendous amount of pressure, as there should be, to nominate women. Trust me.
And it's because they deserve it, not just because they're women. I'm tired of
totally.
seeing women passed over. It's like it's time, like women who work really fucking hard.
Totally. No, it's not. It's not because we're not. I do not grade on the quota curve at all. I mean, there are women.
I know you don't. I'm just talking about your other people. I know you. You voted for Pat for me, and you didn't even want to vote for Pat.
Not in that. I will say this. In that room, in the inner sanctum, everyone in there has. I may not agree with what they're saying, but they make. I understand why they're nominating them. And I don't agree with the nomination maybe, but their case is 100% valid. There's only, there's never any question like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
There's never, actually there was 2 are you fucking kidding me, which I'll tell you off camera. I can't. They were 2. There were 2 eye-rolling. Are you fucking kidding? Which I will tell you off camera.
That's right. Matthew Knowles used to say to me, "Fix your face," because somebody would be saying something really stupid in one of those label meetings, and you know me, Amy. I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I'd be looking at them like, "You dumbass motherfucker," and he'd be like, everybody can tell what you were thinking in that moment. I was like, and I wanted them to know. I said, I have a good poker face when I need to have one. But when you know somebody is sitting there telling you something that's full of shit or suggesting something that makes no sense, it's hard for me to just be like, oh, that's great.
No, that's why I always sit next to certain people that I know I can poke. If they're not, I can poke them, or I can write a note on the pad and go, what the fuck?
Right.
And that's it. But that's all I'll say.
You're like,
that's
with love.
Yeah. Can I mention something real short before we wrap up? Okay, two things. I'm so proud of you that we figured out that if we use Google as our search engine, we won't be cut off in the middle of the show.
I mean, and then there's that.
I'm very proud.
It only took us, let's see, March,
15 shows.
May, July, August, September. When did we discover it? October. Wait, not even October. November. The last show.
Okay. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. It's like, I wonder if there's any connection technology-wise between Google Chrome and Google Voice.
Right.
Let's try it.
And it's like, oh my God, first ring and the phone works. You're like, oh.
Well, Courtney and I were never hired for our tech ability. We were hired because cute and fun at parties.
Honey, I can remix you a song. I can route your tour. I can do all of that. Ask me to fucking park the car across the street, and I'm like, you make two left.
No. Yeah. Why don't we each talk about two kind of music we're digging right now, and then I want to give a short little shout out to somebody. So why don't you tell me what you listen to way more music than me, so what have you been listening to lately?
I am, in full homosexual bliss because... Okay,
when are you not?
I know, but it's been like the fucking trifecta of everybody dropping cute gayatorial records.
That's because the pandemic has kept you guys from going out and recruiting other gays.
So this past Friday, Steps dropped their album What the Future Holds. And listen, I'm a pop cheesy motherfucker. I love some 90s early pop. And so I've been in full Steps What the Future Holds bliss, enjoying that. I've been listening to Kylie on repeat. I've been listening to Roisin on repeat. A bunch of the old shit, I definitely have pulled Jessie Ware back into the moment. And I've just been listening to a lot of old records, trying to find inspiration while working on some different stuff. Like I've been listening to a lot of the old DeBarge albums. I hadn't listened to those in years. I started pulling out, interestingly enough, Melba Moore's 70s catalog, some of that stuff by Van McCoy, and when she was trying to kind of do disco stuff, and that's been interesting. And digging through a lot of the Tom Tom Club albums past the first album. So I've been listening to Boom, Chi Chi Boom Boom a lot, and Close to the Bone, and just interesting, weird, random shit. Plus, this new pop stuff that's just been shaking my world and making me dance around my apartment,
Yeah.
What about you?
I have not been listening to anything particular. Well, I mean, based on sort of the rabbit hole I fell into listening to, watching The Crown and Lovers Rock, I was playing the first Specials record, which is
nice.
Perfect. There's not a bad track. And it kind of brought me back, as I was saying before, to that kind of, that punk time in my life, this 78, 79, 80, where there was this huge, mishmash of ska and punk and the whole, and music was very political. The Specials was a very political record because it was reacting to Thatcher. People always think that, just punk rock, but there was a lot of stuff going on. Listening again to Linton Kwesi Johnson because the stuff is extraordinary. And then I started listening to, for reasons I can't quite figure out, the Divinyls, because I haven't listened to them in a really long time. And Christine Amphlett, who passed away several years ago, that voice, there is no one that sounds like that woman.
Well, you made me pull out my Divinyls album, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I haven't listened to them in a long time. And so many people just get caught up with, I Touched Myself because that was the big, international hit for them. But they have other albums, and her voice was really special. And it was sad when she died,
Yeah, no, it was a really, really special, very different, very distinct voice. And yeah, I Touch Myself is a great song, but it's sort of like Joan Osborne and What If God Was One of Us, or Cyndi Lauper, or What If Girls Just Want to Have Fun. It was the big smash hit, but it was not indicative of what
their work. Exactly, right.
You know, it was. All right, I want to give a brief little shout out. I want to give a little shout out to Craig, and I don't even know his last name, but he's a neighborhood friend and restaurateur. He and his partner Ben own Peaches in Bed-Stuy and Peaches in Fort Greene. And Craig has tortured me for years because he thinks I am single-handedly have destroyed hip-hop because I love the clips. So he's tortured me for years. But he came up to me the other day, I saw him, and he said, I love your podcast. I listen to it all the time.
Wow.
You and Courtney are so New York, so funny. I listen to it in the car. It drives my wife crazy, and I know his wife is lovely. So he said to me, they have set up these little outdoor eating areas that look sort of like Smurf Village. They're like little separate eating areas. And he said, you and Courtney, are you in the same pod? Because you could come and record here.
Oh.
So if we ever want to record outdoors, but we're really not in the same pod because we're in the same podcast. Get it?
Dun.
Boom. But we haven't seen each other. But anyway, Craig, thank you, Craig. He loves very little of what I do other than my son. Because he used to, one of Lucian's first jobs in the neighborhood was working at the restaurant. So they're lovely guys, but he hates my taste in music. But he loves the podcast. Loves it. So
shout out to Craig.
Shout out to Craig and Smoked and Peaches in Fort Greene and Bed-Stuy.
I've only been to, what's the small one?
Smoke Joint. They shut it down, and now it's Peaches.
There was, because this was a Peaches, but wasn't there like a Peaches hot house? And because I haven't been to the big Peaches. I went to a small Peaches once, and I enjoyed it. Yeah,
it's good, and he loves us, and he wants us to sit in his little plexiglass huts and record.
Absolutely. So, hey, listen. Anything is possible. Well, thank you guys for listening. Remember to follow us on Twitter at FinishImma. Follow us on Instagram at ImmaLetYouFinishNY. Follow us on Facebook. We're really funny. That's where we're there the most. And ImmaLetYouFinish, all one word. Follow Listening Party Presents on IG. Follow Listening Party Presents.co online.
I'm very impressed that you remember all that stuff, by the way.
I'm honey, listen. It is, I don't.
And the next time I'm very impressed with your powers of memory because I know you're just right. I'm impressed with it. I really am. It's very good.
I just want to say that I just want a pig in a blanket right now. That's all
Is that what you're calling, Courtney? Is that what you're calling the men you're sleeping with now?
Can I sleep with somebody? Listen, I'm giving it up for Christmas. Who wants some sex? I'm giving it up. If you come here with some pigs in a blanket, now here's the thing. I'm trying to be all vegetarian-y. So if you get the field roast ones, you know what I mean? The vegan ones. If you come over here with a plate full of pigs in a blanket and some mustard, you'll get lucky. We'll be jingling more than bells.
And I love you for it, but you're not well, Courtney. You are not a well woman.
I am not a well woman. And we'll see you, the next time we see you, there'll be an addition to this crew. So.
Yeah. I'll be sitting here babysitting.
There'll be an addition to this crew. We'll see you guys around the 15th. Deuces.
Bye. Take care.
%of households that start the year with Peloton are still active a year later.
92% because of a bike?
Not just bikes. We also make treadmills and rowers.
Oh, let me guess, for elite athletes only, right?
Nope. It doesn't matter if you're an avid exerciser or new to working out. Peloton can help you achieve your fitness goals. 92% stick with it. So can you. Try Peloton bikes, tread or row risk-free with a 30-day home trial. New members only. Not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.